Hi everyone, welcome to episode 13 of the Django and React full stack series. And in this episode, we are going to work on updating existing blog posts. You get so if you write a blog post, you'll be given the opportunity to update the blog post you wrote. You understand? So this is how it's going to work. So right now, if you click on a particular blog post, I'm going to click on the first link. So right now we have this blog post written here. We have this blog article. So here's how it works now. So if you are logged in and you are the author of the blog post, you see a pen icon on the right. You're going to see a pen icon on the right side. You get so once you're logged in and you wrote the blog post, a pen icon will appear on the right. And once you click on the pen icon, a modal will get popped up for you to update your blog. You understand? So here are the conditions. You must be logged in. You must be logged in, and you must be the author. You must be the one who wrote the blog article before you can update it. You understand? So if you're not the author of the post, you won't see any icon. For example, here right now we can see up here we have Janet logged in. Currently, Janet is logged in, and the author of this post is Daniel. So we can't see the pen icon, right? So if this is Janet, so right now it's going to be like this now. So right now we have Janet logged in, and once Janet is the author of the post, a pen icon will appear on the right side. Understand? So that's how it's going to work. So we are going to work on that right now. So right now I added two blog posts for Janet quickly. I added two blog posts. We have Janet here. Janet wrote these two blog posts, and Janet is currently logged in. So if I open this now, currently we can't see the pen icon, right? So we check now. This is Janet. She's logged in and she's also the author of this post. But right now we can't see the pen icon yet. That's because we have not yet implemented the feature yet. So right now we're going to implement the feature right away. So back to our code now. Yeah, here's our code. So we're going to open our detail page. So this is right now, this is happening. This is happening on the blog's detail page. So over to our detail page. And that's going to be in the source folder. In the source folder, we have a folder called pages. So in the pages folder, we have a file called detailpage.jxx. So open that file. So yeah, here it is now. So right now we need to get the username in this component, on this page. How do we do that? We can do that by going over to our app components. So here's our app components. It is inside the source folder directly. This is directly inside the source folder. So open your app components now. So we are going to pass this username as a prop down to the detail page components. So here is okay. Right now, where's our detail page? So here's our detail page. So I'm going to just say username should be equal to username, right? So we got this over here. So now we have to accept this prop into the detail page component. We have to accept the prop. So over to our detail page. So we have to accept username up over here. So we are going to do this. I'm going to just reduce the size of this a bit. So now scroll down. Yeah, just here where we have our block title, this just up here. So I'm going to add some elements just inside of that div. I'll add the span elements. So now I added two icons. I added the pen icon and also the delete icon. So these icons are coming from React icons, right? So let's see if we can import it. Okay, so right now, what we are going to do now, for you to get the icon, you know what to do. Go down to React icon, search for React icons. I think I've showed you guys this before. So the first link. So all you do is simple. For you to get I want to show you how you can get the import statements. Just simply copy this icon, then paste it here. Right, so it's going to pop up. So click on this. Yeah, so right now click on this. So you can see this is the import statement. Control C. Just simply copy this and paste it at the top of your code. I'm going to move that line. Yeah, paste it just on top of your code. So do this. Sorry, not this. You copy this. Paste it here. Perfect. So do the same thing for your delete icon. Do the same thing. Copy, then paste it here, and then you're gonna. It's called MD delete. Here is the icon MD delete. Click on it. You just copy the import statements, and then over to your code. Paste. Just scroll to the top, and then you can paste the code. Yeah. So let's see if you have the icon. Go down to the page. Just refresh the page. Okay, guys, right now I have added the icon. You can see we added the icon over here. We have the pen icon. This first one, the first one is a pen icon. The pen icon is used for updating or editing your blog post, and we also have the delete icon. So this is used to delete your blog post if you want to. So right now, these icons will appear on all pages, irrespective of if you are logged in or you are the author of the post. So this icon is going to appear on all pages irrespective of if you are logged in or if you wrote the blog post. That's because we've not yet added the condition to display the icon appropriately. So back to our code now. If I click on, so right now, on any of the blog posts I click on, you can see we have the icon here. This is the delete. This is the pen icon. This is the delete icon. So it's appearing on all the detail page of the blogs. You understand? So right now, this is Daniel. Daniel wrote this article, right? And right now we have Janet logged in, and right now we have Janet logged in. But Janet can still see these icons, right? So all we are going to do is simple. So we're going to say if right now we already have the username, right? So we are going to check if the username. Remember, so I'm also going to pass is authenticated. So also pass is authenticated to our detail page as a prop. Sorry, just copy. Oh, so we have to receive is authenticated in the detail page. Just copy it. Yeah, so what we're going to do is simple. So over here, we are going to display these two icons conditionally, right? Let me just save my work to make this formatted. So here we have the icon now. We have the two icons in a span element. So I'll simply display, let me make this a bit bigger. I don't like the text too big, but I want you guys to be able to see the code properly. So I'm going to just wrap it around the curly braces, and I'm going to say if it's authenticated, if you are logged in, if it's authenticated, that's the first condition. No, if it's authenticated and if username is equal to the author of the blog, as blog.author.username, and I'll put the and. So the first condition is you must be logged in, and next condition is if the username is currently the same as the author of the blog, as the username of the author of the blog. So if this is true, we are going to have the pen and the delete icon displayed on the page, right? So that's what this command is doing. That's what it's doing. So back to our code. Currently, this is Daniel. Daniel is the author of this post, and up here we have Janet as the logged in user. You can see they both do not match. You can see the icon has disappeared. The icon will only appear if Daniel is the logged in user. But currently, we have Janet as a logged in user. So we are going to go over to another post. Let's try something here. So right now, this is a different post written by Cleansing. And right now we have Janet as a logged in user. So Janet cannot, so right now Janet should not see the pen icon. So I'm going to go over to a blog written by Janet, and we have it here. So click on this. Right now, Janet should this article, and currently we have Janet logged in. So you can see we have the pen icon here. That's perfect, right? So what's the next step? What's the next thing to do now? So next thing, whenever you click on this pen icon, we want to simply pop up a modal. You understand that we want to pop up a modal form. Through that form, the user can then update his or her blog post. So we are going to work on that next. Okay guys, so right now it's time for us to build the modal component. So let's build it. Let's build up the modal component right away. Back to our code and over to your UI component. There's a folder called UI components. We are going to open that folder. We're going to create a new file called modal.jxx as usual. And yeah, we're going to say RAFCE, right? Hit enter. So we go to our modal components right away. So right now I'm going to give this modal a class, so a class name. Yeah, so here's a class name. I'm going to break it. Yeah, so we have this modal now, simple. So you know what the modal looks like. I'll show you what it looks like. So here's our modal. Here's the modal, right? So this modal is going to be, is going to accept, this modal is going, okay, before we pass a prop, right now, before we pass a prop to the modal, before we pass a prop, I want to show you how the modal is going to look like. So I'll simply, I need the modal on the detail page. So just under here, I'll just simply just pass in the modal. Suggest yourself, come on. Yeah, that's it up there. Remember, in React, you can only have one single parent element. But right now, we have the modal, and we also have this div. So what do? We are going to wrap it in a fragment. So paste it here. So we have our modal right now on the detail page. So if we go down to the detail page right there, we can see now this is the modal. These are the modal is. It's going to simply come, it's going to simply appear on the current page. You understand? But one thing is this now. I want to simply have a form on this modal. I want to simply have a form on the modal. Right? So right now the modal is covering the entire page. So what our aim is for us to, whenever we click on the pen icon, the modal pops up with a form on it. So go back to your modal. There's our modal. So our modal is going to accept a prop, but this time it's going to accept the children prop. The children prop now. So passing the children prop here. So children. So it's called children, right? So here's our children prop here. Simple, right? So the children prop, and I know by default we used to pass prop like this. Let's say prop then equal to. These are we pass props normally, right? So whenever you want to pass the prop directly in between the HTML elements, something like this, then you're going to use children. So I'll show you how now. So back to my detail page. I want to pass in. So right now we're going to, so you know, these are we pass prop. We pass prop from, we can say text equal to, let me just say text equal to blue. And then I'm going to accept this text prop in the what is it called, in the modal component called text, right? And then I can display the text somewhere around, right? So these are we pass props normally, right? So whenever it comes to the children prop, we don't do this method. We close the modal, so we then close the modal, and then we pass in the prop in between the opening and the closing tag. And right now the prop we are passing in is a different component, which is the CreatePostPage. Yeah. So these are we passing the prop. So whenever I want to pass in an element as a prop or a different component as a prop, this is how we do it. And how do we accept this? Right now, this is a prop in this modal component. So how do we accept this prop? It's by using this children keyword, right? Using the children keyword, and then we have to put in the children keyword in between the opening div and the closing div. That's how it is. So back to our page now. You can see now we have, right there, you can see now, we are having the, what's the word? We are having our form inside of our modal. Our form is being popped up, but this is not what we want. So we want to make sure that whenever we click on the pen icon, this pops up. But right now, it's not like that yet. So back to our detail page. So we're going to simply add the new state. It's going to say const show modal. We're going to say set show modal. Show modal, yeah, correct. I'm going to say equal to use state, and the default value, is going to be false. So what we do now, all of this is simple now. So whenever show modal is true, we want to display our modal. So just wrap this, and then we're going to just say show modal. Whenever show modal is true, we want to simply display the modal. So right now, the modal has disappeared, right? So that's because show modal is currently false. So how do we make show modal true? So it's simple. Let me just create a function. I'm going to say const toggle modal. Let me just use the normal function we've been using. I'm going to just say function. I'm used to using the arrow function. So I'm going to say toggle modal. I will just say set show modal. So set, and then I'm going to simply negate the current value. Let me just say current value. And I'll simply just negate the current value. So currently, show modal is currently false. Whenever you call this function will simply negate the current value of show modal. Let's assume show modal is false. If you call this function will simply turn the false to true. If show modal is true, if you call this function will turn the true to false. Hope you get. So when do we call this function? This function will be called whenever we click on the pen icon. Whenever we click on the pen icon. Okay, so right now, what's the next step, right? So we have our modal. Click on the form, click on the pen, right? It comes up, right? So remember, this component we are using, we are using the create post component. We are using the same component we use to create the blog. We are using the same component to update existing blogs, right? So there's going to be some conditions we are going to write to make this components to be able to update and also create a blog post. So we are using the same form we used to create. We are using the same form we used to create blog posts to also update an existing blog post. That's what we are doing here. We are using the same form we used to create a blog post. We are going to use that same form to update an existing blog post, right? So that's what we are going to do. So right now, whenever you click on this pen icon, we want to pre-fill this form. Don't worry, I'm going to arrange the form so that you can see right now, you can see we can't see the top, we can't see the uppermost layer of the form, and we can't also see this button properly. We're going to fix that. We're getting there. So right now, what's the aim now? So whenever you click, so if you want to update the form, we are meant to get this form pre-filled. The form is meant to be pre-filled with the existing data. You're meant to see this title. You're meant to see the title up here. You're meant to see the body up over here. The form is meant to be pre-filled, right? So right now, let's work on that now. So back to our detail page. You can see we have this blog. We have this blog objects. We fetched this blog object, right? So we're going to pass this blog. This blog contains the title, the content, the category, the image. Everything about the blog is contained in this blog object. So we're going to pass this blog object as a prop. We are going to pass the blog object as a prop. So the blog object will be passed as a prop to this create post page components. So we're going to say blog should be equal to blog, and over to our create post page components. So we are going to receive blog over here. Yeah. So yeah, back to our use form. Back to the use form. Yeah, here's our use form. So here's our use form. So our use form can also accept default values, right? So this is how it works now. So I'm going to say, put in the object there, and I'll say default values should be equal to blog. But remember, we are using this form to also create new blog posts. And whenever you are creating a new blog post, the blog you want to edit does not exist yet. Whenever you are trying to create a new blog post, the blog you want to update does not exist yet. So you're going to say if blog exists, the default value should be blog. It should be blog. Else it should be an empty object. So that's what we need to do for default values, right? Let's go down to the browser now. If I click on this now, Right there, can see we have the title, we have the body. Don't worry, we are not right now. I'm going to right now. Let's display the category. 'Cause the category is going to be displayed differently, just a bit differently. Let's do a category. Um, here's the category. Yeah, it is over here. So I'm going to add in. I'm going to just come over here and say default value should be equal to, right? So I'm going to say blog. So if blog exists, right, I'm going to just simply just say blog dot category or just an empty string. Let's see. Click on it. You can see we have front end there, right? If I pick a different, if I pick this, okay, if I pick this, click on updates, you can see we have full stack, we have the title, right? So now it's working, right? Don't worry, the image will not be able to display. That's because we can't display the image, just the other text will be able to display, right? But don't worry, through this form we are going to be able to update our images also, but we will not see the image itself on this form. You understand? So that's how it works here. So now we have our text. Now we have these things here. So right now I want to simply adjust the style of the form. So if the form is serving as an update form, I want to simply display above that it is an update form. And also don't worry, I'll show you what I'm talking about right now. So right now let's update the form. So if it is if it is an update form, I want to simply adjust the form styling. So back to our create post page now. So where do we start from? Let me just reduce the size of this. So here's our form. Here's the style for the form. For the form container, for this div, this container is that holds the input fields. So right now, simply just get out the old style, copy everything out, just cut it, and then I'll use I'm gonna use. Then I will paste in the styles here. So I want to simply say if blog exists, remember blog is an object that contains all the properties for our blog, the title, the content, the category. So over here, I'll say if blog, I want to simply add these styles. The first one, I'm going to give I'm going to give the form a height of 90%, 90%. And I'm also going to say, then let's see what it looks like. So right now I can see now the size has reduced, but right now you can see we have the featured image outside the form. So I'm going to also give the form an overflow, right? So overflow should be auto. So let's see now. You can see now that's perfect, right? So we've got this now. So now if blog exists, this blog up here, if it exists now, instead of it to so if it exists, instead of having create posts, we want to have update posts. So what do we do? So just Ctrl Z. So I'll just say if blog, I will simply have, let's just say update posts, else it's going to be create posts. Let's see. Perfect. So let's work on this subtitle, the subheading. So I'm going to say, so first thing, let me just put this in the quotes. Now say if blog, I want to simply say, let me just say, do you want to update your post? Do you want to update your posts? Else, so if there is blog, if blog exists, I want to simply display this as the subheading, else to be this. Do you want to update your posts? Let's add a question mark. And as for the button, scroll down. I'll just simply come over here and say if blog, copy this button, Ctrl C, paste it. Now also paste it else. So I'll remove this one we have outside, we don't need it. So if blog exists, which is the upper one, which is this one, I will simply just say updating posts. And this should be update posts. Perfect. It has changed now. So right now, with our form is working. It's working fine now. So right now, it's time for us to update. It's time for us to update our blog. Let's work on that next. So right now, we are going to simply go write the API function. Over to our backend, the view, the URL. So let me increase the size. The URL is called update blog, and we have to pass the blog ID, right? So back to our front end now. Go over to the file. Let me just increase this a bit. Go over to the folder called services. The folder is inside of your source folder. Here's the folder. Then you have to open the API blog.js file. So just here, I'm going to say function update blog. This function will be expecting a data, which is going to be an object. That's data we are going to pass to update the blog. And it's also going to be expecting the blog ID. So you have to make this function an asynchronous function. And we also have to export it. Just here, I'll just put in the try block. I'll say const response should be equal to, then we'll say await. And we'll say API dot put. Remember, it's a post request, and the endpoint is called, let's check it again, update underscore blog. And it also needs the ID, the PK, which is the ID. So you're going to use the curly brace. It's going to say updates underscore blog. And then we're going to simply pass in the ID dynamically. I'm going to just say the ID is coming from here. Right? So putting the / and then passing the data. This data is going to use to update the blog, right? So then I'm going to say return response dot data, and then I'm going to work on the catch block. I'm going to say catch. I'm passing the error. And once you're here now, I'm going to just say, I'll find a better way of displaying our error message. I'll say if error.response. I will simply just throw new error. I'll just say error.response.data.message. I think this returns a much more meaningful error message to the user. It provides a much more meaningful error message to our user. So if this does not exist, right? Let me also pass on this guy. If it does not exist, I'll just say failed to update blog. So that's if error.response occur exists. So if not, you're going to just throw new error. That's going to be simply error.message. So I'm going to replace the other part of our error function of our error block to do it this way. I'll simply do what? Update it, but you can update it yourself. That's how you learn, right? So we've got our update block function working. So back now to the create post page. So we are going to have a different mutation. Remember, this mutation we have here is for creating a blog. So right now I'm going to have a different mutation. I'm going to simply say const updates mutation should be equal to, we're going to say use mutation. This one is for updating the blog. We're going to say mutation function should be updates blog, and I'm passing the data and the ID. So this I'm going to also pass in this same data and ID over here, but it will be passed as an object. Understand? So this is how it's meant to be. So if you are passing more than one argument or parameter in your mutation, you must put it in an object if it is more than one. But if it is a simple argument, you can place it plain, you can place it just there like that. But if it is more than one, you have to put it in an object. So I'm going to say, so if this is successful, remember we don't yet have the data, we don't yet have our ID. We are going to get them from this onSubmit function. Or if it is successful, let me just say on success. Let me put in the comma on success. If the request is successful, let me just simply just say toast dot success should be. They're going to say your post has been updated successfully. I want to also navigate to the home page after updating a particular post. We already have navigate up here on line 25. Over here, I'll just say navigate to the home. Before we navigate, I want to do something. We are not navigating yet. I want to also console.log. I want to just console.log. Your posts have been successful. We are going to navigate later, but not yet. It's not yet time. So this is when the request is successful. What about if there's an error? So we're going to say on error. Okay. And you're going to just say toast.error. We're going to just simply remember we are expecting the error from here. So let me just pass in the error. Yeah, back to our code. Toast.error. I also love to console.log error. Error updating blog. Updating blog. And I'll pass in the error. So the comma should be outside. So now, this is what we have now. So how do we call the function? We're going to call this function inside of onSubmit. Right now, say if blog exists. I'm going to say if blog, right? And also, remember we have to get our blog ID, right? So over here, I'll just say const blog underscore blog ID should be equal to blog, then question mark, then dots, and then ID. So I cannot just say blog.id because if I do blog.id, whenever that's because we can't just say blog.id because we have to fetch the blog. So why fetching the blog? The blog.id might not be existing yet. So if it is not existing yet, we want to make sure there won't be any problem. That's why I just put the question mark there. And so if it is not existing yet, this can wait till it exists. But if without the question mark, if it is not existing yet and it tries to get it, it's going to throw an error. So avoid the error, we have to use the question mark. So this blog.id now, we've got it up here. So you're going to call this update mutation function. So you're going to say if blog and blog.id, if they both exist, I want to call the updates mutation dot mutate. Remember, update mutation is an object, and this object has other fields like is pending, is error, mutate, is loading, and the rest. So we're going to say update mutation dot mutate, and I'll pass in the objects. The first one is I'm going to say data should be equal to this form data. Remember I said before in the last episode, we are using form data because we are trying to also post a file, an image file. That's why we have to use form data. I'm going to pass in this form data. right? And then the ID is going to be, remember, we are doing this from here. This is where we got, remember, we have to pass in the data here and the ID. So we are providing values for them in this function. And data should be blog, then ID, right? So else, I'm going to simply call this other function. So if this is false, if the condition is false, we are going to skip this and call this other one. But if it is true, we don't have to come down here. Right, so that's it. Okay, so let's try it to our code. Click on updates. Let's open the console. So click on, so I'm going to clear the console. Let me make it clean. I just made it big so you can see. So click on updates. It says blog featured image is required. Okay. So right now we are trying to update a particular blog post, right? We are trying to update this particular blog post. So we are going to make sure this is only required when you want to create a new blog post, right? Not when you want to update. So when you want to update, your post might already have an image, and you might not want to add a new file. So what do we go back to your code now? So where do we have that error message? Here's the featured image. Here's the featured image now. So here's where we have the error message. Blog featured image is required. Remember. So I'll just say if blog exists, I want to make required false. If blog exists, I want to make required false. Else, return the error message. Simple. Back to our code now. So click on updates. Right. So let's see. Right now we have an error. It says error updating blog. Right, then it says failed to update blog. So what could be the problem? So it's saying unauthorized, right? But we are meant to have the error message pop up, but it's not popping up. So why trying to update the blog? We got an error message that says 41 unauthorized. That means we are no longer logged in, right? Or we checked now, our session has expired. If I refresh the page, you can see the user is no longer logged in. So let's log in again. I'll find a way to fix this login issue. So whereby if you are logged in, you can't access some pages. I'll work on that. So you can easily do that here. Back to our page. So if it's unauthorized, unauthorized, yeah. So if you're not, if yeah, where we are. Okay, just here. I'll just say if it's authenticated. You have it on top, right? If it's authenticated, probably have it here. Okay, I'll also pass is authenticated over to my create post page. Where's the create post? Show yourself. Back to our create post. If it's authenticated, let's receive it up here. If is authenticated is false, I will simply return the login page. Simple. Okay, right now, these are okay now. So whenever you okay. Yeah, so right now, by clicking on the create post page, if I log out now, click on create post, click on it. It's asking you to log in. But if you've logged in before and you clicked on create, if you've logged in before without and your session expired without you logging out, if you click on create post, you'll be granted access. That's because while clicking on create post, we had to refresh the token, but we had to generate a new access token using the refresh token we have in our local storage. If you remember what I taught you in the JWT parts, right? That's what we did there. So right now I'm going to just log in as Janet again. Sign in. So we are back on the create post page. We are not meant to be here. So click on any of the click on this updates. So right now let's open the console. So right now let's try again. So click on update post now. Right, and the arrow says 400 bad requests, right? So let's see, click on this arrow, click on this drop down, click on requests. So you can see what we are passing to the backend. The title, this is the value, Next.js 15 full course, right? So the contents, since it's too big, let me reduce the size. So the content, this is the contents, this lorem ipsum text. The category is full stack, and the featured image we are passing is an empty, it's just a forward slash. So we cannot pass a forward slash. You can't pass a forward slash as an image as an image file. So if I scroll up, so I'm going to scroll up now. So this is what this is what we passed as our data to the backend. The title, right? This is the form data, the title, the contents, the category, and the image. Probably where we are having an issue is with the image, because the image is sending over this forward slash, which is wrong. If you check the response is saying now the submitted data was not a file. That's for the featured image. The submitted data was not a file, right? So you can see right now it says right now we have the error message now by going out to my response, right? It says the submitted data was not a file. That's on our featured image. And if you notice something, we're meant to have we're meant to have our toast pop up. We are meant to have an error pop up on the screen, but there was no error popped up. Let's try again. Nothing popped up, but the console, we had something console in our browser, which is this. Right, so if you open it, you see, go down to your request, you see what you sent on the request. You scroll down, right? So you can see everything is valid except this featured image. So if you go down to if you scroll up and go down to where are we? To the response, you see the actual error message. Scroll up here. It says the error is coming from featured image. But the issue is that we are not seeing, we are going to have a pop-up that tells us that something is wrong. But right now, okay, let's simply toast.error.message. Let's see if it's going to give us something. Try again. Click on it again. It's meant to pop up some. Right, see right there it says failed to update log. Okay, that's fine. Okay, so back to our code now. Back to our create post, back to this form data. The error is coming from here. Here's the form data. Yeah, this region. So right now, all we did here is if there's an image, we want to simply append the first image to our form data. Right now there is an image, you understand, but there is a slight problem now. So we are going to add an extra condition. So we're going to say if data dot featured image. Remember, I said it's going to be it is a list of image. It is a list of image. So right now we only want to pick. Right now we want to only pick the first image. Right? What am I doing? Just copy this. We pick the first image. So we are checking if the list of image exists and if there is a first image in the list. Right? And then we want to also check, make sure that we want to also make sure that if we want to also check if we're going to say if the first file in the list, if it is not equal to that empty string we are seeing on the request, if it is not equal to the empty string, we want to see if it is not equal. That's when we want to append the form data. That's when we want to append it. right? So by doing this now, we're not going to be appending this forward slash to our form data instead. We're not going to be doing that. So we're meant to append an actual image file. So for let's see over here we checked for the remember this the first one is data.featured image. This is a list of files. So right now we are only right now our field can only accept a single file, right? This image field. That's why we have to pick the first file. This is the first file in the list of files. So then we have to now make sure that the first file we are selecting is not equal to a forward slash. So if it is not equal to a forward slash, that's when we are going to simply append the image to our form data. But if it is equal to if any of this condition fails, we can't append the image. We can't append the file to our form data. We can only append a valid file to the form data, to our form data you get. So I think this will solve the problem. This will solve our problem. This will solve the problem. So we have our onSubmit. That's what we called in the update mutation.mutate, and we called in our mutation function. So if blog exists, that means we are working on the update form. If there is no blog, that means we are working on the create form. So let's try again. So let's open the inspect. I'm going to clear up this and then click on this. Right now it says your post has been updated successfully. So how do we prove it? So we want to also navigate now. So back to over here. So I want to also say navigate to the home page. So we are meant to navigate to the user profile page, but that page has not yet been built. So when we build the page, we are going to be navigating to the user profile page. So on success, navigate to the home page. Yeah, you get that. It. So I'm going to just say Next.js focus for complete beginners. So right now I'm updating the title. I'm going to just change this to I'm going to convert this full stack to front end to show you something, and then I'm going to leave the image file like that. It already has a file. I don't want to change the file. I'll just simply update the post, and it says your post has been updated successfully, and we have been redirected to the home page. And we check now, I can see it says Next.js 15 for complete beginners. And previously the category was full stack, now it is front end. Let's try for this other post. Janet showed this post, and Janet is logged in, so she can edit this post. So I'm going to say Tailwind CSS for absolute beginners. I can just say let's just say React. Let me just say React and Django for absolute beginners. Now change the category to full stack, from front end to full stack, right? And then let's just simply, okay, right now I want to also update the featured image. I want to also do that. Let's pick something. Okay, I'll pick this and then update posts. You can see now just changed. It's now saying React and Django for absolute beginners. So right now, why it is updating, we want to also have an indicator that tells us that the blog is being updated. So back to our button, just scroll down. So it says here, so here we say if blog exists. So right now, these are update button session. Right over here is the create button. Let me just save this to make it look better. So here's our update button, and from here downward is the create button. So when it is so for the update button, it is called update mutation, and not it's called update mutation and not mutation. Just also update mutation. So right now let's try and update a post again. So instead of saying Next.js 15, I'll say Next.js 16. So I will just show you that our update as right now. Just scroll down and let's click on full stack. Let's pick full stack instead of front end. So right now, update post. You can see it says updating posts. I can see saying Next.js 16 full course. Next.js 16 full course, and the category is now full stack. So right now I just showed you how you can update a specific blog post. So in the next episode, we are going to learn how to delete a particular blog post. So see you there.